what compares? It goes with what? The I. So identify. Which do you like better, scanning or identifying? You like scanning? Okay. Feels a little bit more active. Okay. Okay, how about A? Assess in terms of the empty process? Predicting, yeah. Which do you like better? Predict, okay, so now we got SP, let's create a new one. F, find, versus, which do you like? Do you like D? You like find, you want find. SPF, it's not spelling anything. And execute, it's not too, not too creative. Did it spell anything? Spoof? Spoof method of writing, okay. Yeah. Well, we got to teach you an application of this driver's ed concept on each and every one of your drives. And it's another acronym. This is the one we really want you to memorize. Okay? It's called the SMOG routine. SMOG routine. Do you guys have the drive sheet? I want to introduce our drive lessons. All the behind the wheel that we're going to do. Simulator time. You got one in your folder or handed to you. I've got extras if you need. Is there one in your folder? Go ahead and put your name on top of it already in the name section. And then if you do have your instructional permit, that's the IP. Go ahead and write that there. You need what? Oh, no, you got it right there. Right there. It's just upside down. Okay, it's flipped. So name, IP. You got it? Starts with your last name, first 5 letters. If you have a short last name, not as long as 5 letters, you got to put those stars in there, an asterisk. Right at the top it says LIC. LIC number, license number. Your permit number is your license number eventually. Same one. By the way, those of you who had to go home and do the computer login with License Express, right? Did you get your code? Did you guys get your code? No? Especially you guys, you had your ID. You got your permit? You got it already? You didn't do my waiver? No. Okay, how about anybody else? Get your permit okay? If you need help with that still, let me know. Do you have your permit? You know, so see me after class, I gotta show you how to set up a License Express account with DOL, and then I can give them a waiver saying you don't have to take the test right now. Just because you're in. Okay, everybody got it written down? Put an emergency contact number there. That would be like a parent cell phone, of course. Emergency contact. Right next to the IP. Okay? Say who it is, too. Like D in parentheses, we'll know it's dad, or M in parentheses, mom. Okay? All right. Then, someplace, write this down. The SMOG routine. SMOG. And each one of these lessons, we're going to be drilling you on it ad nauseum, because you've got to get it down. You have to practice it. How many times you got to practice something before you learn it as a habit? 8 times. 28. Oh, 20. Okay, good. 4. You got it right. My hearing's just off. 28 times. 28 days typically on average to learn this. And just by the end of the first lesson, you won't have it down. We won't do it enough. We can't do it enough. All right. We're going to ask, too, is this SMOG routine really a safe method? It's supposed to be an application of all these basic traffic safety concepts. But is it safe? Well, the SMOG routine stands for S. Every time you move your vehicle, anytime you go anywhere, change direction, come out of a parking stall, turn left at the light, you got to put on signal. Put on your signal before moving, before doing anything else. Okay? And make sure it's okay to go that way. What another idea, getting the big picture from Harold Smith. What do you use around your car to get a big picture? Mirrors, there it is. Good. Signal mirror. Mirror's not enough sometimes. So what else should you do? Over shoulder, very good. You heard it already. We're looking over our shoulder. That's your head check. That's your checking into your blind spot. Okay, whichever direction you're going. Over your shoulder, over your shoulder. Signal mirror, over shoulder. G is simply go. Go. Okay, go. Sometimes gas. Step on the gas. Move the wheel. Okay, signal, mirror, over shoulder. Look at that first drive lesson. You can see it here in summary. We're always going to start off with a prep time, pre-start exercises, making sure the vehicle's already safe to go, of course. Somebody else used it before you, of course. You got to see if everything's adjusted properly. See that their path around it is clear for you to go. That's your open zone, remember? So, prep start, we'll head out, do some basic exercises, get to someplace, and then do some exercises, maybe in a neighborhood, maybe in a parking lot, maybe on the freeway, wherever it is, and then we head back. Exercises to do along the way, but each and every time we make a change of direction or maneuver or something like that, you've got to apply this smog routine. Look at this one. Entering the road. You're at a stop. You're just entering the road. What are you supposed to do? Entering the road? You just go? No, you got to do what? On your signal first. How are you going to signal? You're moving out from the right side of the road. Signal left. Good. Signal left to enter traffic. But then signal. Check what? Mirror. Mirror on the side left because that's the direction you're going. And then over the shoulder left. You don't have to look off over this direction. Go that way. Okay? But just get that routine. Whichever direction you're moving that vehicle, make sure your field of vision goes that way too. And check it for clear. Signal, mirror, over shoulder. That's entering the road. How about exiting the road, coming to a stop on the side of the road? What are you going to do? You're on the road. You're not taking a turn, but still, you're moving in the road. You're moving and changing lanes. To change lanes anytime, even if it's just to the shoulder, you got to do what? Signal. Which signal?
Exit.
To get this direction? Right. Put on your right blinker. Then do what? Signal. Check your mirror. Mirror. Over shoulder. This direction. And if it's clear, of course, get over to the side and come to a stop. Signal, mirror, over shoulder, go. Signal, mirror. We're going to do that several times. This is like one of the first exercises, that one I just showed you, that you'll do on your drive test with us later. It's called the starting exercise. The first move is to exit traffic. What we want to do is see how good you are getting to the curb. Whether or not you're a danger potential for maybe hitting somebody that's on a bicycle or a parked car. You're going to hit that curb too and go up on it. What are you going to do? Are you signaling each and every time? Are you doing your head check each and every time? We're looking for that smog routine. Out of traffic and then back into traffic. Guess how many points possible? 8 points possible, just for that one maneuver. When you blow it all, you miss, maybe you don't do that head check on the way out, you don't do the signal on the way back in, that's 4 points, there's another 4, there's 8 points. And we haven't done the parallel parking. We haven't done the back, we haven't done all these other extras. 8 points, there's a lot to give up. When you have to get what on your test? An 80. Okay? 80 or greater. All right. Signal, mirror, shoulder. Again, we're going to drill you ad nauseum all the time. You're going to be dreaming about this at night in your sleep. And tell your parents you've got to practice this routine because you've got to get it down. They're probably not doing it all. A lot of people do it. 80% of the population don't signal when they're supposed to. 80%. They're definitely not doing their head checks. Just relying on the mirrors. That's points off. All right. Smog routine. Got it? Let's see if it's safe. Is it safe? In terms of the acronym we just looked at, scanning, assessing, finding, executing, break it down. Each one of these items should align up with one thing, at least in the safe method. So, the first thing you do in the smog routine, signaling, would be the equivalent of what in the safe method? One thing. What? Yeah, you guys said. You're doing something, in other words, right? How do you execute signaling? It's rather simple, isn't it? If we were to like narrate it, take hand off of wheel. Put hand on turn signal switch. Don't look at it, because your eyes got to be up. And it's not scanning, it's not searching. Okay? It's just executing using your hand. Okay? So, mirrors. Now you're doing what? You're assessing. You're assessing. You are, but first you're doing what in order to? If you're just looking into your mirrors, scanning, yeah. You're using your eyes. And that's what this one is. This is eyes. This is head or brain. Okay? Mirrors, right there. You know that's not enough, so you got to do that head check. Now what is O? So it's doing what? What are you using? Using your head? Is it just your head? You're using what? Because you're looking for what? Something out there in your blind spot area. It's just part of scanning. Over the shoulder. It's kind of, you're turning your head, yeah, executing. Yeah, you're doing something with your body. All right. You're looking. That's the whole purpose here, is you're looking to see if something's clear. So it is part of scanning. Looking over your shoulder. Signal mirror over shoulder, then what? What's going? It's just one. Which one?
You said one would fit with every one.
I didn't say some would fit. I said, let's take a look and see if one fits with everyone. It should fit with everyone if it is a safe method. So look what's happening. You're discovering what? Going is what? Simply go, gas, steer, brake. Okay. What are we missing, obviously? So really, you can do all these things and do it by rote without really even thinking about it or making the further judgment. Oh, wait a minute. Is it really completely safe to go? If you're trying to do a lane change, for instance, okay, and this guy's coming up fast. Right now it's clear, right? Right now it's clear, but he's traveling too fast, and you'd be impeding what's called a flow of the traffic at that point. You'd be impeding. And impeding is a ticketable offense. So you didn't make the right judgment call, even though your signal mirror over shoulder go, you know, looked and you saw, immediately it was clear, but it wasn't enough. You got to make a further judgment call, further assessment, predict what might happen. Is this signal on right? Maybe he's way out here in the far left lane, and you're in the far right lane. You guys both want the center lane. Are they signaling? Are they signaling? Did you see it? All right, and they're right about there. Maybe you did your head check, but maybe he wants that space too, and you're trying to move into it, even though you did your signal mirror over shoulder go. So you got to use your head a whole lot more. It requires a lot of intense thinking, as well as obviously a lot of intense seeing. You're going to be getting some eye strain driving the way we want you to drive, and brain strain. Okay, you got to be thinking on your toes, and faster as we're getting to higher, more complex, congested environments. All right, safe method's good. Smog is good. Sometimes not enough. All right. Next week we're going to have one of our more, I call it probably our most important lessons. If you're going to get in a crash on the road, where typically is it going to be? Where? Most often. In the middle? In the road someplace. Where? In the middle of what? Think where most conflict occurs. Highway? Street? Intersections, because cars are doing what?
Crossing.
Yeah, intersecting, crossing each other's paths. Yeah, that's it exactly. More than 40% of all crashes occur there. So you're likely, to get injured in a place like that. So it's really important to make sure it's totally clear. And now we've got to teach you another method. We'll do that next week, of how to scan there. very, very carefully. Scan differently depending on the environment. Okay? Here's some homework we're going to look at. I want to give you before we head out. We've got about another 5-10 minutes. Remember the end of the movie when they're trying to learn their vehicle from their car, the truck? Right, it wasn't doing so well. I want you to get to know your braking system especially. Remember I said yesterday, one of the main S's of driving that you have bad habits develop over the years is stopping. Well, stopping. You need to know your braking system. Stop speeding. Stop once you get to your destination. You gotta stop once you go. Okay? But you need to know how well to brake. You need to know on a day like today how wet it was, how slick it was, whether or not your braking system is going to work the way you want it to. Or, like with one of the last drives I did, we skidded all over the place. Because that was just part of the lesson. Flip the page, look on the back side, look under lesson number 4, and you see threshold braking, skid control, things of that nature, hazard avoidance. I had one of the girls slam on the brakes really, really quick. And it was so fast and so hard at a speed of about 25, 30 miles an hour that she laid down rubber. And she skidded. She didn't realize, well, the braking system won't do what her car at home does. The guys on the video had what? Maybe ABS? You guys hear about that? Anti-lock, what? Anti-lock braking system. It prevents your vehicle's wheels from locking up and doing that very thing that she did. And we could see the smoke and the smell of everything, and it was kind of fun. I told her, don't do that again. But you learn the threshold of the brake system. You know now that you don't have ABS on board. You should be able to know well in advance, even before you start driving, whether or not you have it. How do you know? How do you know if you got ABS in your car? Check what? Ask somebody who knows. Hey, you're on your own. Yeah.
It should be like on the console.
Okay, so you're looking up in your dash, your console, and it reads what? Very good. Now, how does it look? You're right. Sometimes it just says anti-lock. It's spelled out like that. Anti-lock. That's a little too cumbersome, so we want to simplify and go with a little symbol. Well, all your brake symbols look like what? A circle with a parentheses around it. And inside should say ABS. Should say ABS. The one with the exclamation point would be what? Not necessarily. Could be. It could be. You don't know yet. If you go and press on your brakes while you're driving and this light comes up, yeah, something's wrong with your brakes. You're low on brake fluid, in fact. That's probably what that means. Okay? But if you're just parking and this comes on, it came on because you did what? Yeah. You set the parking brake. It means the same thing. These typically come on at the same time. They indicate that you set the emergency brake. Okay? Emergency brake, parking brake, same thing. Just different uses at different times. But look for this now, and you have ABS, circle with the parentheses around it. And that lets you know that you got it on board. But the light should do what? Come on with all the console lights, and then do what? Go off. Go off. That's right. That's right. So, like with your oil light, see if I can do this right. There's your oil drip light, right? Okay. Your what? Battery light. All those things should come on immediately when you start the car up, and then I'll go away. That lets you know they're okay. Yeah. It's like you know, it's like Houston General Control for launch control. You check in all those indicator lights and making sure things are working. Now, if it stays on, if the ABS light stays on, guess what? It's not working. It's not interfacing right with your computer, and so it's not going to work. So now you got to brake something totally different. You have to do what's called threshold braking. Figure out where the threshold of your brake system is, and don't lock up. Kind of lift up, just like all the way down, short of lock up. So you might have to depress it all the way and then ease your foot up, just a tad. You got to figure that out. And the funny thing is, your brake system changes over time. Why? Because you're using it, you're wearing it. Yeah, you're wearing them out. Okay? So your threshold changes. You got to keep finding it. That's going to be your first part of the homework. Figuring out if you got ABS on board your cars at home. Simple homework. Okay? I want you to know, because I want you to know when you start up our cars whether or not it's got it. And then figure out this system here. One of the things we do in the first lesson too is, you see it there? Prove e-brake works. See that? Just prep time. Before we even hit the road, I want to make sure that the emergency brake's going to work if you need it. Out there, while you're driving. How would you prove that it works? You got an answer?
Pull it.
Just pull it. Pull it and your light comes on. That just proves that your light comes on. Nice try. Nope. Close. That's part of it, but it's not enough. You gotta do something else. This one is harder. A lot of adults don't know how to do this. I take people out. On their road tests and they don't know how to prove it. Or they drive with it on. Yeah. What'd you say, Matt?
So you start driving and then you go.
Okay, that's close.
What proves it?
We don't want you to actually move out of the stall and drive and do it. We want you to do it from the stall, so just shy of one little thing. You just put on what?
Neutral.
You do have to check it. Neutral's close, but
Gas.
bingo. No gas. No gas, because it'll go. But, say it again.
Pull it up, and then turn to drive.
Yeah. And then just do what with your foot? Just let off the brake. Don't step on the gas. Just ease off. Try this with your parents. Don't step on the gas with your parents. They'll freak them out. But tell them, we got to prove that this thing works. If it doesn't work, it's not roadworthy. We can't take that car out on your test. You got to know how to do that. Okay? We do it on our final drive too. We want you to see that you're able to do it by the final drive so that you're ready for your actual skills test with us later. Okay? So go home and try it. Now you got 3 different kinds of brakes, right? 3 different kinds of emergency brakes. You guys have all been indicating this, you know, the one with the button. Okay, lift out. We call that a handbrake. But you have a couple others. Bogdan?
There's a push pedal.
Push pedal, good. So push pedal, and then how do you release that? A couple ways. You could have, a lever that you pull to release the foot pedal. Sometimes you just actually step on it again, and it releases it. I don't like those so well, but some Cadillacs have that. There's one other. I've got an old truck and it has it. Mr. McFarland is indicating this kind of thing. You ever done that? Could be here, it could be here. I got one over here. It's a crank. It's a hand crank that you pull like this, real tight. To release it is a little different. You have to twist the handle and push it back in. All right? It's the hand crank. And a lot of older trucks or vehicles have, This is a 1965 Ford 100 series.
Okay, I was thinking, I think that was.
Still, there are others. I had a new Mazda B2000, and it had one here too. Depends. You gotta know them all. Okay, so I want you to figure that out at home. 2 items: ABS, and you got to tell me what your make and model number, is the year on your vehicle. Then I want to know what it is you're driving, and then tell me if your e-brake works on that vehicle. If it doesn't, of course, it's not roadworthy. Okay, make sense? All right, drive 1. You see? Drive 2. I told you it's going to get a little harder. What are we going to do in drive 2? What does it look like?
We're gonna hit
Parking.
reverse. We're gonna hit reverse at least 5.
Those are novice instructors, I'm sorry, that allow that sort of thing.
Hilarious.
All right, so we're going to do a lot of parking exercises, everything pertaining to parking. What do we got? What are we going to be tested on first? There's only 2 exercises.
Sure you can count the hill.
Yeah? She said,
I said 3 if you count the hill.
yeah.
3 feet up the hill.
He said what?
Test it on.
He said what
Okay.
are you going to do? I tested on.
You're going to be tested on hill parking, whether you know how to park when you're uphill with a curb or without, or downhill with or without a curb. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so we're going to be practicing those. The dreaded what parking exercise? Parallel parking. Usually we'll use one vehicle on the road and we'll expect you to parallel park behind it. And pretend though that there's another car back here, an imaginary car. About a car length and a half, and you've got to get it in between that tight spot. If you keep going, of course, like this, to make it happen, oh, that's no good. You don't get points for that. We want you to pretend as though you're in downtown Seattle traffic. And you got to slide it right in there. And you only get one attempt. And you only get, really, 3 steps. If you start adding steps, then you lose points. We call that this jockeying. If you have to go back and forth. Okay? You get one try in, and then straighten out forward once. That's it. We'll practice that. We'll practice that downtown here, so that you get a feel for what it's like around congested traffic too. No worries. Okay? The other parking we're going to do is like what we got out here in the stalls, of course. We got angled parking in front of the building. We got perpendicular parking in the lots. You're not going to be tested on that. This is some of the harder stuff. We want you to start your test by backing into the stall. That's probably even harder than parallel parking. It takes you a little bit more time to maneuver and see. No? Oh, Amanda says she's proficient in it. I like you.
No, I'm just better than.
You're just better than that one? Really? Oh, but if you learn all the steps, if you learn the reference points on the vehicle, around the car, then you'd be able to parallel park as good as that. But that is a hard exercise. Back it into in between the lines, okay? The critical thing is not to hit anything, right? Yeah, no hitting things. Some schools we have will have little cones up. Put little cones up. I got everything. I got all the props. All right, and you're supposed to parallel park in between them. You hit a cone on the way out. Guess what happens? No, you don't. You should. I think you should, but the state says no.
I mean, do I need your address? No.
I know. You did complete it, all right? And it's just a cone. You're not damaging an actual car. Could be a car. It could be a car. That's right. Now, if you encounter cones on the road, you probably have what? Like around Auburn High School right now. Construction. Guess what? You hit a cone there, you're done for. That's right. That's no good. That's a construction zone. It's a protected one, and you could potentially be a hazard to whom? The workers there, the construction workers there. Absolutely. Okay, so cones on the road. Watch out. Cones in the parking exercise. If we use that, we should be okay. Okay. Any questions about the drives? No? All right.
She was talking about parallel parking. She's like, wouldn't it be easier to parallel park on these sides?
On the other side, it is actually. It's totally easier. People think that. Where are you sitting in the car? What side of the car are you sitting on? Yeah. You're sitting on the left side. You see it closer. That's why it's easier to go into a parking stall on the left than it is easier to go into a parking stall on the right. You're absolutely right. But you can only parallel park on the left if it's what kind of road? There you go. Go to downtown Seattle. Have at it. All right? All right. Good work today. Everybody sign in. Let's have your folders to the center, and I'll sign off your stuff. Everybody that needs a waiver, see me yet.